Well. What do we have here? If it ain't another podcast or live stream, y'all smash that like button for me. Y'all jump out and hit that and share it out to all your friends. Um, this might not be quite what I normally touch on, which is college football, because I'm trying to intertwine other topics into the show because a lot of people have asked me to do so, like a little bit of politics, a little bit of WWE in the off season. Since college football season is out of season, we do have recruiting season, but nevertheless, we still have some football to talk about in this podcast. Not college football, but we have some skittle shitting football to talk about, as we now have the official Super Bowl of skittle shitters. You have San Francisco, which is the genesis of all that is and encompasses what it is to be a skittle shitter. The city of San Francisco, where they shit on the streets and gleefully and spastically celebrate chopping their private parts off. What's up, John Ritchie? Thunder OU in the house as well. You haven't missed nothing yet, Tim. I was just leading up to the whole spiel that I'm going to be on tonight. It's not going to be something that's probably going to get a lot of fanfare, and a lot of people might unsubscribe. So this is what I would call a purge session. Because, like I said earlier, we are going to talk a little bit of football. But there's the Texas border crisis that I want to talk about. People don't like me talking about it. I guess they can just unsubscribe to my channel because that's what they've been doing anyway. WWE fans, to me, got robbed at the Royal Rumble. A lot of people don't really watch wrestling in here, but like I said, we're just doing a variety of topics because people have asked me to do this. I was just saying that the Super Bowl that we have now is the Bowl of Skittle Shares. San Francisco, like I said, is the genesis of what it is to be a Skittle shitter, in my opinion. And it's just trickled down to the rest of the state of California. And now you have San Francisco, the genesis of Skittle shitters, in the Super Bowl versus those Kansas City Swifties. Those Taylor Swifties, boy. Oh, she's such a great singer and blah, 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 blah. She really ain't that great of a singer. Now, I know a lot of people like Taylor Swift, but I just don't understand the hullabaloo about Taylor Swift, man. And it's getting a little aggravating that the NFL continues to push agendas like Bud Light did that their main core audience don't give a hell about. They just don't. Man. Nobody gives a damn. And all that stuff, man, that they're trying to push is going to push people away. I'm not watching the Super Bowl. Just not. I skipped a Super Bowl, a couple of Super Bowls back because of some stuff, and I'm going to skip this one because it encompasses everything that I dislike about what's going on in the world today, as well as our sports. OU Center says the NFL is celebrating Transgender Week before the Super Bowl. See, that's the stupid shit I'm talking about, man. That's the stuff right there that makes me angry as hell. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. What does watching a sporting event? And they want to do that in their own time. They want to go down to the border and protest the stuff that's going on at the border. And in the process of all that, remove their private parts down there with that barbed wire that they doubled up on. Then by all means, let's get two birds with one stone. Get rid of the transgenders and the illegals, right? That shit's going to get me in trouble. This podcast tonight, this live stream, may be the last time y'all see me on here live. They may ban me. So they've done it before with my old one that I had. What was it called? I changed the name of it to Mr. Mixelplitzky, but it used to be called JPC Sports. And I might have changed it to another name too. I just can't remember. White Hetherington is in the house. How's your day going, Outlaw? It's going pretty good, White. I'm just coming in here and hanging out with y'all after the the shitting of the bed that took place with the Detroit Lions. They basically sold the sheets, and what was they up 24-0, from what I understand. And they let the San Francisco Skittle Shitters, the Genesis Skittle Shitters, I should call them Genesis to differentiate from Skittle Shitter Jr. down in L.A., that being the USC Trojans. I think I'm starting to adhere to the conspiracy theorist out there that this shit's fixed because they got the king ding-a-ling of transgenderism and all that's wrong in the world and perversion in San Francisco in the Super Bowl, along with the Taylor Swift jackasses. That shit really pisses me off. I don't know why, but it just really rubs me the wrong way that all they talk about is Taylor Swift. Most guys that watch football, what's the damn name of that commissioner again? Roy Goodell. Goodell needs to have a coming to Jesus moment or a moment where he wakes up and is no longer oblivious and says to himself, hey, I'm screwing my product up, just like Bud Light did. Because most of the people that watch football, they don't care about Taylor Swift. They don't care about tuck mechanisms and 8-year-old underwear. They just don't. And I'm fed up with this shit, and that's why I'm on here tonight, man. I'm going to try not to cuss as much because we got some people here who are real Christian-like people that asked me not to, drop the real profane words. Now, I might drop the occasional PG-13 word in here just out of bad habit. But I'm going to try to adhere to not being so nasty-mouthed tonight. Roger Goodell, that's right, Jeff Payton. He's a complete and utter jackass. They should rename him Roger Jackass because he's a jackass. Also, and what do y'all think about the Skittle Shitter Bowl? Instead of Super Bowl, we'll just call it the Skittle Shitter Bowl because you got the Swifties and the Genesis Skittle Shitters. What do y'all think? Y'all gonna watch it? Y'all gonna watch this Super Bowl? I'm not. I guarantee you I won't be watching that shit. There's a lot of people out there who's like, well, man, this is the last time we get to watch football, so I'm going to watch it, man. I don't care what y'all say about the politics. Well, you're going to care when they take your sport away from you and start doing all sorts of crazy other shit. This is just the beginning of what they do when they just start dismantling stuff and making it just basically a spineless endeavor that you end up watching. Thunder OU Center says rename Roger Goodell Roger Skill Shitter? You mean Skittle, right? Because Skill Shitter, he could have the skills to be the best shitter of all time because he does bullshit a lot, does Roger Goodell. It kills me when those guys come on the stage for Roger Goodell when they're getting drafted and he hugs them. I mean, he hugs them hard too, man. And he got everybody believing, man. He's almost as believable as Brian Kelly's Southern accent when he got hired at LSU, right? Who called me un-American? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Storm is just being he says, I'm banned outlaw, I'm un-American. Yeah, Storm is just saying that because I think he's being a little sarcastic. At least I hope he is, because Storm's been around for a while. He's been on this channel for quite some time. Roger Dale is a skill shitter, yes. Michael's wanting to know why you call me un-American. I think I just explained that. I'm not going to make this all about the Skittle Shitter Bowl. It's coming up. But I just wanted to touch on it real quick, Eric. Just to tell people my disdain for it. I actually watched the Super Bowl last year, I think. But I hadn't watched a Super Bowl in about 3 or 4 years up to that point. And when I finally come back just a modicum of a bit, Roger Goodell starts pulling this shit. And I've been getting links from all y'all about them having a transgender week. Do y'all really think? I think they know that their major fan base doesn't really adhere to this kind of stuff, but they do it anyway because of that EOS score. Am I saying that acronym right? Some ESO score or some shit that the higher ups, Black Label Company, or whatever the hell that thing's called, Big Brother, they want to push this, a lot of this pervert, cowardly stuff on us because they want it to be legal. Just like all the politicians out there, most of them, not all of them, But for example, the Clintons, they want stuff like that to be legal so they don't go to prison because they want to molest children and stuff like that because they're all pieces of shit and they're cowards. Just saying. I'm going for Dan Hammer tonight, just to let y'all know. Before y'all accuse me of drinking alcohol, that's C4 Ultimate Energy. Figured I need it for this. If y'all mind, jump out, smash the like button, share it to your friends, tell them I'm having a meltdown here, tell them I'm just going straight hardcore spastic on these bitches. Excuse my language. Caleb Witten's in the house. Caleb says the Chiefs are cheaters. Refs are helping them against the Ravens. Never liked Taylor Swift. It's a setup. Hopefully the 49ers beat the Chiefs. Well, look, man. Who do you choose? I know you're saying you're going for the 49ers. But I can't root for the 49ers, man. That's where all that over the top forcing yourself on people agendas it's started. That's where all that transgender crap is, all the for lack of a better term, the homophobic supposed stuff. I'm not homophobic. We're not homophobic. None of us are homophobic. That's what y'all don't understand. We just don't agree with being homosexual. Just like you don't agree with being heterosexual, we don't agree with being homosexual. Why is it that we can't disagree with y'all's choices, but y'all can disagree with ours? You see what I'm saying? So it's hard for me to root for San Francisco because I know that's where a lot of that stuff started. Now, I could be wrong. They may have taken an unfair rap and they may have gotten an unfair label as being the Skittle shitter capital of the world. I don't know. But for the time being, I can't root for San Francisco or Kansas City. I hope that Super Bowl has a complete meltdown. I don't hope anybody gets hurt or anything. But it wouldn't hurt my feelings if for some reason, I don't know, where's the Super Bowl being played this year? Las Vegas? It wouldn't hurt my feelings if a meteor, a small meteor, struck the stadium. Didn't hurt nobody, but struck the stadium enough to where they'd have to postpone that Super Bowl for, I don't know, indefinitely. Mr. OCF, this is Lance Flore. We don't even have viable presidential candidates. I'd vote if I had any confidence in the candidates. I think Reagan was the last great president we had running this country. I agree with that, Lance Flore. But here's the thing. We need more parties. See, the thing is, well, maybe not more parties. We just need to do away with party labels. I mean, that party label loyalty, as I've said numerous times, party label loyalty makes for corrupt loyalty. So let's just do away with parties and make it simple. Sometimes the simplest way is the best way, but people try to make it to where it's not simple, to try to confuse people, to try to corrupt, to try to get their way. Like you said, both parties are corrupt as hell. Back when I was younger and I registered to vote, I went to register to vote. The lady at the voting office told me I had to declare Democrat or Republican. Found out she lied to me. But because I could have been independent, which is what I really am. But I did declare as a Democrat back in the late 1980s, early 90s. But that's because back then I was what you call a conservative Democrat, and the Democratic Party is no longer the Democratic Party I knew. Hell, the Republican Party has even got some rhinos in it that are, taking this country down, in my opinion. In Texas Hold'em Poker, a Queen 3 is nicknamed San Francisco Busboy. Well, now, is that a fact? What are you laughing at Mary for? What did she say? Let me scroll back up here. She called you a spicy Cajun. Well, now, got a little spicing of the crawfish up in here. Hey, we got a little bit of everything. All right, now let's talk about that Texas border crisis that y'all see going on down there. I saw a guy get on, I don't know if it was the governor, Abbott, or somebody for Texas. I saw a video where he was basically telling Joe Biden, if you didn't want to secure the border, we're securing it for you. We don't need you down here. You don't need to come down here and try to do the job for us because obviously you didn't want to do it up until now. We don't need you down here. As a matter of fact, they doubled up on the barbed wire. It was yesterday, I think, was the deadline to remove that shit, and Texas doubled up on it. 25 other states, I'm not sure which ones, most of them probably in the South, have volunteered to send their National Guard troops to the border and help Texas secure the border. Because what these assholes up north, excuse my language once again, don't understand is they're not the one that's having to put up with this crap. They're not the ones having to let people cross the border. And I seen a guy, they're not invading their neighborhoods, although Ron DeSantis did send a few up to Martha's Vineyard just to aggravate a little bit. But I saw something today where a guy said, you shouldn't have borders at all because this country originally belonged to the Indians and the Mexicans. The state of Texas did. I'm like, well, that's a pretty lame response. It's one that y'all always straw grasp to. And what it is, it's just not valid, man, because if you look at the history of the world, the United States is just a drop in the bucket. Just what we've been about 250 years. There's been countries taken over numerous times. Their lands taken and renamed throughout history. The Roman Empire took numerous countries. So you don't see nobody talking about the Roman Empire like that, right? But they just want to keep allowing people over here. I'm like, man, you can't just keep letting people in the country. It'll be overcrowded and overrun, and all the jobs will be taken, and we'll be out of jobs, and we'll be homeless. It would be like you have a 2-bedroom house, and a couple of people come and ask you, can they live with you? You say, sure, and you let them in because you screen them a little bit and decide they're pretty good people. And then 5 more people come and want to live with you. Then 10, then 15, until it's like 40 or 50 people want to come across the border of your door into your house and live with you and take up the space in your house and spend all your monies and yada, yada, yada. That's what it's like. People don't like me doing that comparison because it sticks in their craw and it's pretty straight to the point that you can't continue to let people in here and overcrowd the United States. You can't just keep letting people come. Can't everybody in the freaking world, not everybody in the North American continent, or not even the North American continent, because the Canadians usually stay themselves, but Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Panama, on down into Colombia and Peru, Ecuador, them countries can't all come up here and live in the United States, man. And Mexico is finally getting around to securing their southern border, but it took them long enough. And we all know what's going on here, right? They're letting all these illegals in because they're hoping that they will vote for the Democratic Party. And although I was a registered Democrat, that's some corrupt ass shit, man. They just need to do away with parties. Or what's going to end up happening is the Republican Party is going to get too much power, and the Democratic Party is going to go away, and then it's just going to be the Republican primary that's going to decide the presidential, whoever the president is. It's just going to be a Republican, and then they're going to get corrupted. That's why, like a commenter said earlier, you need to just do away with party labels, period. Yeah, Greg Abbott. Yeah. Lloyd Biden says, I figured stick wood. I'm in Ohio now, blah, blah, blah. Rye Guy 1218. I was actually in LA, and it's Skittle Shitter Central. So they've moved the capital of Skittle Shitting from what Rye Guy is telling me here, or at least he's volunteering to petition that the moniker of Skittle Shitter, Genesis, capital of Skittle Shitting, should be moved from San Francisco to Los Angeles. Is that what you're telling me here, Right Guy? If you don't mind, also, there's a little money dollar sign at the bottom, a little circle around it. If you want to get your comment pushed to the top, click on that, write your comment out, then click the second time after you write your comment out so your comment goes through and it's not blank. And I'll get to it because there's a lot of comments there and I can't get to all of them. And it'll help the show out if you make a small donation as well. Also, if you want to, jump out, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The whole like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those all 4 are free. David Orwig says none of the Texas National Guard is taking the wire down. Hell, they are the ones putting it up in the first freaking place. Exactly. And that's why there's so many songs about Texas. There's a lot of songs about other states like Alabama and West Virginia and whatnot, but Texas has a lot of songs about them because not the University of Texas. They're just an outlier. They're a cesspool. The city of Austin should be removed, rooted up, and tossed into the Gulf of Mexico because they're a bunch of liberal spastics now in Austin. But outside of Austin, the rest of the state of Texas is what it's all about. It's all about. That's what it's all about. They're real Americans, man. Not, like I said, not a Democrat, not a Republican. So don't try to label me anything. I'm just a real American. And then maybe we should form our own party. We'll just call it the American Party. What do y'all think? Caleb Whitten says, I don't get it. Their allies protect their borders, but not us. That's stupid. Our taxpayer money is going to Ukraine, and 5 corrupt Ukrainians got arrested. 40 million of USA Today. I'm going to get me some water here. An energy drink. Just not quite quenching the thirst here. I left my damn water in there. I got one, a little bit right here. Austin should be given to California. You're right, guy. What's the most in California? I haven't been to California. Never been there. So maybe y'all can tell me, out of all the cities in California, what city in California would be considered the most normal? The most normal city. I'm not even going to use the word conservative because that's overused. But the most normal American city with real core values in the state of California. Is there any left? Some people say Northern California. Some people tell me San Diego's okay. Y'all tell me. Thunder OU Sooner says, it's an invasion at the border. There's people from China, Middle East, and Africa also crossing the border. That's true. I saw a video the other day, Thunder OU, where this guy was like telling this woman as a reporter, he's like, y'all don't know me now, but y'all gonna know me. And while he had, the brownish copper skin color that most Latinos do, you could tell he wasn't really a Latino, which more than likely meant he was probably of Arabic descent. And a lot of, not trying to stereotype here, so don't start crying and wetting your diapers of the liberal spastics out there watching this. But those of Arabic descent are more inclined to do stuff that would be considered terrorism. They just are. It's just a fact. It's not racism. It's not stereotyping. It is a fact. Facts are facts. Stats are stats. They don't usually lie to you. San Diego, says Fred Goss, is probably the most normal city in California. Rye Guy 1218 says Redding, California. Is Redding in Northern California, Rye Guy 1218? Can't remember. Bakersfield is red, says Caleb Whitten. Well, I guess there's still a little hope, huh? Molly Right-Wing Duck fan says the same with Portland. It's a liberal, spastically inclined city. Is Portland. Should have asked somebody to come on with me. But I didn't. I just want to jump in here real quick. Has any of y'all watched WWE? I watched it last night. I watched the Royal Rumble. I gotten where I didn't watch wrestling anymore because it gotten where it just basically sucked. But the new storyline with Roman Reigns and the Bloodline and some of the newer guys that's coming in, some fresh people with some fresh faces. And they brought CM Punk back. That's not a fresh face. And if y'all haven't watched the Royal Rumble yet, close your ears if you don't want to hear this. You're going to try to watch it because I'm going to give it away. Spoiler alert. It come down to, once again, these Royal Rumbles are not hard to call at all. They need to get a little more original. Now, I'm not saying let some mid-carder jobber win the Royal Rumble, but let a big name win the Royal Rumble that you don't expect to win. Like everybody knew there was going to be either CM Punk or Cody Rhodes, because Cody Rhodes and my story is still untold. My daddy, blah blah blah. My daddy was a great wrestler. The rest, Dusty Rhodes, blah blah blah. My story is still untold, and I'm going to tell my story, and I'm going to go back to WrestleMania, and this year I'm going to win it, which you probably will. Problem I have with that Cody Rhodes is that you're not the only professional wrestler that has a story to tell, man. You had a famous father, okay? Big deal. And as a matter of fact, the other wrestlers out there that don't have famous fathers, they have more of a story to tell. They have a harder climb to the top than you, Cody. So y'all get off the whole Cody, poor old Cody's. Oh, it's such a hard climb for Cody. Let's just celebrate Cody Rhodes. When in fact, if you're going to give it to one of the Rhodes boys, you should let Dustin Rhodes hold the belt. Maybe not as Goldust, but as some other character, right? Right, guy 1218. The thing with Oregon is that the cities are super duper liberal, but rural Oregon is very Republican. Unfortunately, the big cities outvote them. Yeah, that's what happened in Georgia. They're the only southern state that voted for Joe Biden, and it was because Atlanta is full of a bunch of jackasses. That's the stupidest city in America almost to me. Because it's closer to me, I know more about it. Atlanta is probably the biggest dump in the South to me, outside of maybe New Orleans. New Orleans used to be decent, but man, now it's just a dump. And on the heels of that, Big Cojones Kelly says, same here in Louisiana, Raga, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans is libtard hotbed. You know, here in Tuscaloosa is sort of a democratic city too. But to Walt Mack's defense, he don't come out and say some of the crazy shit that the Austin mayor and the New Orleans mayors be saying. Virginia is not a southern state. That is true. They claim to be a southern state, but Virginia is not really a southern state. But I feel like the WWE robbed the fans because they just went along with the vanilla ending. Everybody sort of knew that's what was going to happen. I knew about every single one that was going to be in the Final Four. Now, the Women's Royal Rumble surprised me a little bit. They let Bayley win it. Bayley's won the championship before. She's a big name in women's wrestling. But they had a bunch of big and up-and-coming stars that were in the Final Four of that thing when it got down to 4 wrestlers. And Bayley was the least likely of those that I thought would win it because she's already had her run at the title. But they got a little creative with it and let her win it because she'd never won it, which is what they should have done with the men's. They should have let that guy that's been the Intercontinental Champion for quite some time, Gunther, they should let him win the Royal Rumble because we know they got 2 wrestling belts now, which I think is stupid to have 2 championship belts. I mean, it takes away from the importance of the U.S. belt and the Intercontinental belt by having 2 championship belts. But that's just my opinion. But we all know that final 2, CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, basically, they already punched their ticket for WrestleMania because what's going to happen is Cody's going to challenge Roman Reigns, and then CM Punk is going to get a shot at Seth Rollins because him and Seth been having words ever since he's been back. Yes, I know wrestling's fake before somebody pops in here and says that bullshit. David Orwig says they said that people from 120 different nations have come across our borders thanks to liberals and their reprobate mind mentality. That's what the book of Romans says, and in 2019, Dim said they are. That's true. That's true. G'day, man. Roll Tide Boomer Sooner. Who else? Hold That Tiger. Who else is in here? Go Ducks. So y'all seem like y'all rather talk about the Texas border crisis, huh? Yeah. And I asked a friend of mine today, Jonathan Lewis, who podcasts me sometimes. His ex-wife is in the military, and I asked him if it comes down to it, and uh, Biden orders the U.S. military to take down that border wall, and Texas is sending their National Guard troops, and other southern states are sending their National Guard troops. Who does she fight for? Does she stay with the U.S. military and go down there and tear the wall down against her beliefs because he said she was a conservative? Or does she do the right thing and bolt for Texas and just, if it comes to Biden taking that wall down and confronting the National Guard of Texas and the National Guard of other southern states, are we not looking at another civil war? I don't know, man. It's pretty scary stuff right now. This guy cannot get out of office any quicker, man. And like I said, I used to be a registered Democrat, so don't come in here saying I'm a Trumpster and all that bullshit. To me, Donald Trump is just the lesser of two evils. And got no choice but to go with Donald Trump because y'all letting these liberal spastics and these left-wing extremists hijack the Democratic Party, man. Y'all doing it to yourselves, man. Get rid of them. Go with common sense morality. That's all it takes, man. It's just common sense. People know what's right and wrong. They know deep down inside it's not right to go around chopping your penis off and saying you're a woman when you're not. These people that are transgender, they are actually the ones that are bigots. I've said this before. They're gay men that don't want to admit that they're gay men. They want a man so bad that they are wanting to make the field of men greater for them by being able to be with straight men because they want to say they're a woman when they're not. So they're bigots. They're ashamed of the fact that they're homosexuals, which makes y'all bigots. Y'all are bigots if you want to say that you're a woman when you actually got the structure and the bone density of a man. You're just a gay male. Own it. Admit to it. Come out of the closet. Whatever other cliche you can think of. Just say it and do it and be done with it. But we don't care. That's why I don't understand, man. It's like, I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you think you're I don't care if you think you're Bigfoot coming to visit from Pluto on a spaceship. You can declare yourself anything. You can say that you're a tree out in the yard. But don't force it on us. We shouldn't have to agree with that stuff. Don't force it on us. It's like when we're watching football, the last thing that enters my mind is, gee, I wonder if that guy's gay. Or, gee, I wonder if that guy wants to kneel because of police brutality, like Colin Kaepernick. Another subject, another topic for another day, but, it sort of goes along with the same lines of all this other cowardly bullshit. If y'all want to believe in that stuff, then believe in it, but don't force it on us. Don't make us watch on our sports. That's not what we're watching sports for. We don't care. We don't want to get a mental image of you and your man pounding it out in some sleazy hotel in the backwoods of El Paso at the border whilst y'all try to sneak illegals over at the same time. If you look at the migrants in Chicago and New York, they do not look Mexican. They look either African or Haitian, says Black Guy 1218. That is true. That is true. And that's what I've been talking about. Is this ain't just a Latino problem. This is an everybody problem. This is an everybody in the world problem. These people coming in here with ill intent. Biden and them know it. They want the government to fail. Biden takes kickbacks from the Ukraine. Ukraine used to be associated with the Soviet Union, which was associated with what? Communism. Biden's also been guilty of taking kickbacks from the Chinese. The Chinese are what? Communism. I think that Biden and them want the country to fail so they can turn it into a China state. I really believe that sometimes. I believe that they want it to fail so they can take over and be kings and queens and shit like that. Caleb Witten says they have mental issues and Satan is pushing those beliefs going against marriage. It makes me sick. Finally got a donation up in here. Somebody showing me some love, even if it is $2. Look for my comment below. All right. Big Cajones Kelly trying to get a discount comment on me. I have been told by a friend that teaches that they have illegal immigrant kids in their class this year. See? That's what I'm talking about, man. That's horse shit. Don't mind you coming over here. If you come over here legally, if you go through the process and get over here and learn the language with the country that you're coming to, that's another issue I got. All of a sudden, they want to make everything about Spanish and English. You try to call your bank, and they're like, for English, blah, blah, blah. For Spanish, blah, 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 blah. They never ask you for Russian or German or Chinese. Why does the Spanish language get preferential treatment? Huh? Because they're trying to get across the border to get what they want, right? These people come in here not paying taxes either, man. They living off us and living off the government, and they're not having to pay Social Security or any of that stuff, man, which is a crock of shit, by the way. The Social Security system is a crock of shit, man. We're probably not going to be able to enjoy that when we get older and get retired because it's going to be all gone because they stole it from us. Dylan Mulvaney is a homosexual man twisted by drugs and surgery, says Rye Guy 1218. I agree. And if y'all want to get your comment pushed to the top and get me to read it out more readily because I can't get to everybody's comment, do like Big Cajones Kelly. Click on that money dollar sign at the bottom with a little circle around it. Click on that. Write your comment out. Then hit send. And I'll read it out. Back to wrestling. Lance Flore says, I quit watching wrestling after Fritz Von Erich and Harley Race left the game. Wrestling didn't get better for me after they left wrestling. Well, damn, Lance, you must have me by at least 20 years, man, because I never watched Fritz Von Erich wrestle. I seen Harley Race briefly in the twilight of his career, but I have to disagree. I liked wrestling when it was you had the Monday Night Wars. That was pretty awesome. The NWO thing was played out way too long. It was a good thing for a little while. The Attitude Era was Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and Triple H, to some degree Bret the Hitman Hart and Chris Jericho. All those guys, I really liked that era. But once you got to the John Cena era where they were just shoving John Cena down our throats, and Triple H tries to defend it. People say it all the time, but John Cena's a hell of a worker. Nobody outworks John Cena. Blah, 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 blah. John Cena. Like, damn, Triple H. And now you got Vince McMahon getting implicated in sex trafficking. It's like art imitates life, or your job sometimes imitates real life. And for Vince, it does. Vince had been writing very promiscuous type, uncomfortable sexual overtone type storylines for a long time before they cracked down on him. I guess around 2005 or 2006 when they went to the PG era with John Cena's stupid ass. But he'd always been doing stuff that was considered a little perverse and a little humiliating. He used to get people to do a kiss your ass club and have people kiss his ass, like literally kiss his naked ass in the ring. And he basically, this woman accused him of sex trafficking her and making her feel uncomfortable, like she's going to lose her job. She didn't do certain things for him. So he paid her off for a while and he stopped paying her, so she outed him again. She claims that he was pimping her out to top brass for WWE. And the worst thing of it all, what she said, was the fact that he defecated on her. What makes you want to take a shit on somebody while you're having sex? I don't get it, man. I understand you want to get a little kinky and, mix things up a bit and do something new for you and your partner or whatever and make it a little more exciting. But I never thought that taking a dump on somebody while I'm having sex is something exciting or to make me um, have a bigger orgasm, for lack of a better term. I mean, come on. Seriously? That's some nasty, nasty perverted stuff, man. I hate that happened because, I don't know, man. It don't look good for Vince McMahon. I can say that. Eric Basham says they're not migrants. Illegal aliens is what they are. Get it right. That's true. What they're basically saying is they're illegal immigrants, which is basically to me the same thing as illegal aliens. It's semantics. It's just words. Now, if you just called them migrants without the word illegal on it, I could see your point, Eric. But illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, illegal is illegal, and illegal is the key word here, not aliens or immigrants. Tell y'all a funny story, man. I was at a Mexican restaurant one night. A friend of mine named Mike Black, and there was a picture on the wall, a painted picture. Someone had painted it, and it was a green alien, like a spaceship alien. And I'm like, is that not ironic? Did they do this intentionally as a play on words? I'm like, look, Mike, it's an illegal alien on the wall. And he died laughing, man. He's like, dude, I can't believe you said that shit. Thunder O.U. Center says Beijing Cena. I lost all respect for John Cena after John Cena apologized to China. They all apologize to China, man. China's paying their bills, man. China's paying their bills. Eric Basham backs me up on what I just said. Vince crapped on a girl's head. Vince McMahon also named his dildos a real-life wrestler. That's some sick stuff right there. Well, what was the name of the wrestler? Hopefully it was a female, right? I hate to think Vince was, pedaling both pedals on the bike there. Maybe it was Victoria. Now, y'all remember Victoria? She was pretty hot. And she was really hot in TNA. Maybe it was Trish Stratus. Did he name his dildo after Trish Stratus? Did he name his toys after who's another? Molly Holly? Tori? Sable? Which one, Kane? Which one did he name his sex toys after? Inquiring minds want to know. Since you brought it up, Kane, tell us who Vince named his sex toys after. Did he name one of them Brandon Dunn? My name one Big Cajones Kelly. My name is one of his sex toys that. So Vince McMahon always named his sex toys like Big Show, Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, and stuff like that. Why? I can understand if it's female wrestlers. I think you're making it up, man. I think you're trolling, man. I think you're trolling. Kill back first, say you named it The Rock. That would fit. Back to the immigration talk. Caleb Witten says every immigrant who comes here should be required within 5 years to learn English or leave the country. Theodore Roosevelt. That is true. And I was getting to that, and I forgot, Caleb, so I'm glad you brought it back up, brother. If you're coming to another country, why wouldn't you learn the language? And why would you come over here and put the Mexican flag up? If you're so pissed off and that country's such a piece of crap, I see them with Mexican flags flying in the back of their pickup trucks. Hell, some of these people have better vehicles than I do because they're not paying any taxes at all. I also saw with the Texas Rangers, I don't know if y'all saw this, the Texas Rangers went over into some part of Mexico or the United States. I think it's an area that's disputed whether it's United States or Mexico. I don't know. But they invaded the cartel. It's like a park that the cartel ran. And the Texas Rangers just went over there and invaded it and took some of the cartel down today. I don't know if y'all heard about that or not. But if I was going to move to Mexico, You know what I'd do? First thing I would do is learn how to speak Spanish. Common sense, man. If you're going to move to another country, foreign country, you want to be able to communicate. Something bad happens to you, you call 911 in that country, man. How you going to tell them that you messed up, or tell them what's going on if you don't know the language, I moved to Germany. It ain't got nothing to do with I'm not just singling out Latinos and Spanish people. If I moved to Germany, I learned to speak German. If I moved to Russia, I learned how to speak Russian. Chinese, I learned how to speak Chinese and use that screwed up alphabet they use. Kane Reed says he's not making that up. Vince McMahon really named his sex toys after wrestlers. They said Vince McMahon wanted to do a storyline with him and his daughter, Stephanie, an ancestral storyline. So now I'm starting to believe a lot of that stuff. The guy needs to be done away with. He's as bad as Bill Cosby, man. Just as bad as Bill Cosby. And I think Bill Cosby ended up getting released. This country is, if you're famous, man, even if you get caught and you commit a crime and they prosecute you, they put you in some prison somewhere where it's like a mansion. Somewhere that you or I would actually like to live. I would love to live in the prisons they put them people in. Because they don't really put them in real prisons. And that's the horseshit thing about it, man. Just needs to be a complete reset, in my opinion. Somehow, some way, not going to get into details on how I think so, but something needs to happen, man. They need to reset, man. They need a third viable party. They need to do away with party labels. Some people with some real backbone that's not, patronizing us. I like some of the things that Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump say, but I'm just not sure whether they're patronizing me or not. They're just the lesser of two evils at this point, right? Big Cojones Kelly says, no lie, some of the immigrants will work their ass off more than the people who are born here. Yeah, I'm sure they would. But that's not the point. The point is they're over here illegally, and they're taking jobs away from people. Now, some of the jobs, you're right, some of the jobs people in America won't do. So I can see your point on that somewhat, but you still need to be over here legally, and you still need to learn the language. If you're not going to learn the language and you're going to come over here and not have a driver's license and run over and kill somebody and then run your ass back to Mexico, that shit's not cool, man. My daughter had a friend whose father was killed by an illegal immigrant. He was run over on his motorcycle, killed the man. Dude made bail and took off from Mexico, and they hadn't caught him since. But he killed that man and took him from his daughter. If his illegal ass hadn't been over here, he'd still be alive today. So I don't care how hard they work. It doesn't give them a right to come over here and do the stuff they're doing and kill people. Epstein got offed. That's because they send money to their families overseas over the border. That is true. Well, all right, it's been fun. I'm going to jump on here and get y'all started on the Skittle shit and Super Bowl that we're going to have. Are y'all going to watch it? Are y'all going to actually watch the Super Bowl? Because I decided that once both Kansas City and San Francisco made it, I wasn't going to watch it. Now, Baltimore and Detroit, those cities aren't any better, really, especially crime rate. All four cities that were in the playoffs are some pretty crappy cities. But lesser of two evils again, even with football, right? If Detroit had made it, I would have watched the Super Bowl. If the Baltimore Ravens had made it, and it would have been San Francisco, I probably still wouldn't watch the Super Bowl. It was all predicated on Detroit making it because the rest of them I really can't stomach. Baltimore, San Francisco, Kansas City would be okay if they didn't continue to push this Taylor Swift shit on everybody. Bob Berry, huh? Son was killed by an illegal immigrant. Bob used to announce the OU games. Oh, Bob Berry. Bob Berry's son was OU games on the radio. Yeah, exactly. Eric Basham says if Vince jumps back in the ring, his new name should be the Defecator. He can wrestle the Emasculator. Y'all see my wrestling mask up on the wall? That's the Emasculator. They don't want no part of Emasculator, boy. Emasculator knows it all. Knows how to stun people, RKO, tombstone pile driver, razor's edge, figure four leg lock, the Emasculator. Big Coney's Kelly said he's not watching the Super Bowl. Good to know. I'm trying to get everybody not to watch the Super Bowl. Well, all right. Unless y'all got something else y'all want me to answer, I'm fixing to get up out of here. Y'all can click on the money dollar sign at the bottom if you want to donate to the program and help me out a little bit. And I'll read your comment out before I get off of here. I'm going to look at a few more of these comments before I leave. Mary Caroline, I'm not watching. I don't care if the team's done. I'm over the obnoxious Taylor Swift narrative. Exactly. And with that sweet Caroline comment, I'm out of here. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share me out with all your friends, please. Sharing is caring. KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.